Bon dia a tothom. Comencem, doncs, si us sembla, aquesta segona jornada de les segones jornades Gameplay, aquesta segona edició de la incubadora Gameplay UPF. Després d'una jornada molt intensa ahir, doncs avui tenim una altra també molt farcida de diferents continguts. Bé, ja hem fet la presentació institucional més llarga, avui tinc una versió molt breu, no patiu. Per començar, simplement recordar, per si algú no estava ahir al començament, que Gameplay és un programa d'incubació de videojocs que té una particularitat, encara que no sigui l'única, sí que ens fa una mica diferents a altres incubadores de producció de videojocs, i és que té la seu a una universitat, en aquest cas en aquest campus, al campus de la comunicació Poble Nou, i en aquest sentit, a banda de serveis i ajuts que se solen donar a projectes en curs de joves creadors, creadores que estan intentant empentar, tirar endavant projectes de videojoc a través d'ajudes a través de mentories, de facilitar l'accés a fires, a festivals, etc. Doncs també vam pensar que seria bona idea crear unes jornades per reflexionar a nivell social, cultural, creatiu, artístic, sobre videojocs, i d'aquí ve una mica aquesta iniciativa, que ja vam fer a la primera edició, de fer unes jornades de reflexió sobre la cultura contemporània del videojoc i els game studies, els estudis acadèmics del videojoc, i d'aquesta manera ajuntar l'estímul de la creació jove amb aquests projectes que tenim i que podreu veure al Coffee Break, si voleu, aquí a la sala del costat, i també la reflexió sociocultural, diguem-ne, sobre el món del videojoc. I per això estem aquí, amb aquesta, avui ja, com us deia, segona jornada. Avui durant el matí tindrem, per començar, la presentació d'un work in progress, d'un informe sobre esdeveniments i distribució relativa a ArtGames, a Game Art. Després parlarem sobre adaptacions al videojoc, des de la literatura, des del còmic, i parlarem també sobre videojocs, art digital i imaginaris contrahegemònics. I a la tarda, a partir de les 15:30, a l'espai Arsenal, aquí al costat, tindrem un taller de disseny a càrrec de Péndulo Studios, concretament amb el Josué Monchan. Com us deia, hi haurà un coffee break a mig matí, cap a les 12:15, 12:30, on us convidem a veure i a fer una ullada d'aquests projectes que estan exposats a través de pòsters, alguna demo a la sala del costat de la sala Arsenal. I passem ja, entrem en matèria, si us sembla. Avui, per començar, tenim aquesta presentació del Work in Progress, d'aquest informe en curs, en marxa, sobre ArtGames i Game Art, aquest mapa sobre esdeveniments internacionals al voltant d'aquest tipus de creacions. I atès que és un treball que està en curs, de moment serà una presentació més aviat breu i òbviament en el futur us anirem informant sobre com evoluciona aquest projecte, aquesta recerca que estan duent a terme. Ara ja les presento, la María Luján Oulton i Zuraida. I'm going to introduce them in English because they are giving the talk in English, so thank you both for being here. Well, Zuraida is a Playful Curator of the Amaze Festival and the Overkill Festival. They are both key festivals on art, games, game art internationally. Thanks a lot for being here, Zuraida. And María Luján Oulton is curator of the No Play This Festival and co-founder of GAIA, which is the Game Arts International Assembly. Thank you both again. We are pleased to have you on board. Zuraida and Luján's research aims, as I said, at mapping out these international events on game art, art games, and they are working on this research report, as well as an interactive web-based platform, right, through which we will be sharing and disseminating knowledge about this quite complex creative territory. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, this is on. Just to link with yesterday talk, because this is like everything is connected. Yesterday they were talking about what makes a game indie and the need of having a specific circuit for this kind of productions that existing outside the mainstream industry. And what do they need to really be free? And there was a big discussion also regarding what makes a game indie. And we're about to get that a bit more complicated, because we're going to talk about not only indie games, but artistic, experimental, and a specific scene within this already existing indie scene. So this is an intro talking about the project. This is working, not working.
Just like that,
Maybe? There it is. Now, a bit about us, and not. Or not about. Yeah, I'll just start talking, and I will try to close this.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello, thank you for having me here. I'm Zuraida, and I'm based in the Netherlands, and I'm a Playful arts curator working on several projects throughout the year. And two big ones are the Overkill Festival, which is in the Netherlands, a Playful art festival, and then Amaze in Berlin, which is an art house game festival. And you already noticed that I'm using two different words or to explain what they are. And this is also one thing that we were going to talk about, like how that works or not, or with help from you. What else is on there?
All the things that you do.
Yes, all the things that I do. It's a lot. I've been working on this for like 2 decades, so and a little bit more. So yeah, I'm really enjoy bringing people together to either create or showcase and meet each other to around games and playfulness. Yeah, that's in a short nutshell me.
Know me, Luján. Well, I come from Argentina. In 2009, I started Game On El Arte en Juego, which was the first art games exhibit, like trying to mix playful new media art with this kind of indie experimental art games. And when I started doing that, I also started looking around what was happening, and already Zuraida has been working on a playful arts exhibit for a while back then, and there were other events happening around, so the scene in 2009 was getting started. I moved here to Barcelona 3 years ago, and since last year I'm the artistic director of Now Play This Festival, which is a festival in the same vein that takes place in London within the London Games Week Festival. I'm co-founder of GAIA, which since I got within this indie art game scene, I started like trying to research and to see like the different faces that this coin, which has not only 2 faces but a lot of faces. So that's how GAIA appeared, which is a gathering that tries to connect all the people that, like us, are curators or academic researchers, developers, journalists that are working with video games as a cultural object, and we'll get into that in a bit. And this is also how this conversation started, the need to really... to really define or try to grasp what we are talking about. As Zuraida said, some of us talk about playful art or art games or art house games, which is a nice way of defining. And we have been talking about this a lot, going back and forth. How do we name this? Yes? Yes. And maybe this is also that we will also be talking with those of you who stay later in the workshop. For now, we're sticking to this notion of art games. For a bit of context, there has been some writing, some research on this regard, and as you know, when you want to start working around something, you have to show that this is already been something that is being discussed. So the art games term appeared within the academy. You can see some highlighted words. We're not going to read everything, but you have Rebecca Cannon talking about how art games are about exploring cultural critique, new formats.
Yeah, and Tiffany Holmes is talking about the challenges with cultural stereotypes, and it can create also new stories.
Tiffany presented a paper in SIGGRAPH back in 2003, and she was like one of the first to really start spreading the word about this idea of art games, which also then started to resonate within the game studies and the academy and the art academy. And maybe these are names that might ring a bell to some of you. Like John Sharp was one of the main ones. We can agree or not, but the thing is that this is people that are reflecting and thinking and the things that we find in similar between all these descriptions.
You can also see that it's already a long time that they're talking about it. So Matteo is talking from 2006 already about this as a calendar and a website about it as well. And then John Sharp, this is 2015. It feels still new to me, this book, but it's already almost 10 years ago. So, but there's newer ones too, of course.
Of course, the Academy started, the Artist Academy, and also the game developers, they started doing stuff which they themselves considered needed to be sometimes separated to the mainstream and also to the indie scene. For instance, the work that Tale of Tales has been doing, which also they started claiming as art, and then they said, okay, this is not art, and actually this is not games, and they also created this not games tag. So yeah, choose your own flavor. And Daniel Benmergui, to bring someone more close to us from Argentina, behind the storyteller and one of the first part of the art games movement within the indie scene. So everyone agrees, this is about exploring, about trying to communicate something different. About it could be the mechanics, it can be the narrative, it can be the aesthetic. There are different ways of approaching, but it's about doing something different and exploring the medium itself. And I guess that's what we're trying to say. No, again.
Cancel.
And I know, just I can see the. Ooh.
It's a game.
It's a game.
Yeah, so what do we mean when we talk about art games? Your guess is as good as mine, actually. But there's, it has been from the 90s. There has been experimentation with what the medium as games can do, and we're now also turning back to those aesthetics from the 90s, basically, maybe to have easy, accessible ways of exploring the medium of games. We picked two, I think, examples.
Yeah. And actually the paper will delve a bit into this discussion.
Yeah, so we have like a super small, because it's just a short talk and we cannot dive into it like super deep, but just wanted to talk about it a little bit, and so that we can also discuss with you about what kind of terms you would use and how we can integrate it into our project, basically, and in our paper. So yeah, The Graveyard by Tale of Tales. It was very new back then. It was just like walking in a graveyard. You could only walk slowly, and it would end with you on a little bench, and a Flemish song would start playing, and that was everything you could do. But it was also picked up by mainstream and more commercial games like. From Uncharted, Richard LeMarchand was using it as a way of thinking in a new way about what can you let the player do, how can you make them go slower, and so they made like a scene in Uncharted, I don't remember which one, but where you had to go into this village and you couldn't use your weapons and you could only walk slowly, so you had to take in the environment and to be peaceful, basically, instead of just running around and shooting everything that came on your path. So it was also going into the more mainstream ways of thinking about what games can do and how you can make the player look at things in a different way.
Yeah, and actually this is very important. It's not just about... This is also a game. It's not just about creating our own circuit and staying within the bubble. It's about showing what games can do and trying to change the industry or to influence a bit. And maybe when those changes are already copied, then we'll start a new conversation. So we're stepping like to a side, but trying also to get into a dialogue with that. And next to that, to show this wide range of things that we can consider art games is, who has played the Graveyard? Yeah. And who bought it and played until the end with the unlock ending? Yeah. Two different experiences. I won't spoil it. And the other one by Monica Rickig. Have you seen this one?
I think artGames made a exposition.
Yes, it was commissioned by Luca for the Ludens exposition at La GAIA. And it's within this universe that Monica is exploring about a dystopic future where technology will have its own life and not necessarily be nice. So it's a machine that plays by itself, and maybe she will allow you to play with her or not, depending on the mood that has that day. So it's also about who is playing and who controls the game, who sets the rule. And now a trip down memory lane.
We just wanted to share a little bit more about like where we come from our with how we came to the project that we're now trying to do. Like I said, I've been working on things for a long while, and I saw things growing, and I saw different events coming along about games. Thank you. And so I started in 2003, around 2003, with the DIGRA, Digital Game Research Association. The first conference that they did was in Utrecht in 2003. And I was still being a student then at the University of Utrecht, and they needed an intern for an exhibition. So I started working on an exhibition as an intern called Gamescapes, I think. And already back then, we had several different ways of looking at games, and actually Tale of Tales started in 2003, and we had their first prototype of 8. And it's always interesting to me how they've grown. And I've already had them at my first exhibition that they ever did. But we also had alternative controllers where you just worked with sound and voice could do something. There was a little light lamp game and a little LARP kind of thing. So we already brought everything together that we thought this is interesting as for play and for games, and bringing that together for the researchers to explore and play. And back then, we thought of researchers not playing that much. There was this whole narratology, ludology framework where discussions and researchers were not really playing games. So we thought, with the DIGRA, with the first Level Up conference, we're gonna let them play. So this is why we had an exhibition and a festival, like a little club night where there were also games where you had to play with your breath, and you had to play with the pain station where it was very painful to play the game. So there was already all of these different ideas of what games can be in the first Level Up conference, TIGRA. And then
There was supposed to be a video here, a playful video.
Yeah. Why is
it
it
not?
It's not. Okay, well. You can look. If you type in Playful Arts Festival, you can watch the video yourself. But this was to show a little bit of the Playful Arts Festival that I did from 2012 to 2018 together with Iris Peters in the Netherlands, where we tried to combine different ways of playing. So it was more about play and bringing people together from dance, from theater, from games, from architecture, and all of that, bring that together and see what happens when you put those together and invite an audience to play with all of those different things. It's a beautiful video. You have to imagine this a little bit.
People happy.
Happy people.
Let me go. Let's see what.
Because I uploaded it to the
On the
drive.
same.
But yeah.
There should be a game on video showing again happy people and all this experimental. I don't know if it.
Can you go to the website?
It has to not work, so to be. I don't know. I have internet on, and I don't want to delay this. We can keep talking.
We can keep talking.
So the idea was to have these videos showing the kind of experiments and of playful things and installations that were happening at the time. Yes, you are aware that it's not working. This is one of the first.
Well, I actually, when I was already putting blogs together when that was still a thing. It's coming back, but when this was still a thing, I tried to get a calendar happening, and also trying to figure out where are all the exhibitions and events taking place that to talk about these games in a different way than we. Because I could go to a commercial thing where there's only shooters and people in cosplay. Nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't what I was looking for to experience games. So I gathered in 2013-14, I set up this Tumblr, where I tried to gather all the videos of the game events that were happening around the world, basically from like different continents and different angles. And I took it for Tumblr because that was a way of bringing videos together from all the different platforms. And if I go to YouTube and make a playlist, that's a whole different beast than when I go to Vimeo or to Vine or whatever. So here I could collect everything together.
But also the problem is how to keep it alive, and what happens when the videos don't work, and how to really get to know all the things that are happening around. So, things that it has been happening, then there were a lot of interns and tryouts to map the events, but actually, unless that you were within that circuit, you wouldn't know what was happening. And for me, for instance, being in Argentina, I was seeing that everything was happening far away. That was one of the main reasons to co-create GAIA with Jim Monroe, to kind of create this network. But then we realized that we were also just talking between each other and maybe seeing the same faces, but new events were just appearing. So there was this need not only to document what has happened, to create a history and to show what has happened, but also to map the thing and to try to connect all these festivals, all these people that is working around this independent curators, all this map. So we are starting to doing this. The idea is to create a report trying to grasp this history of the ArtGames movement and what does this community mean and intends to do. What are the events, the people, the gameplays, the game labs, the collectives behind this, and to create also a website, interactive playful website that aligns with this idea of playfulness behind all this movement that will allow us to keep this alive, and the workshop in the afternoon is connected to this. And so far, we have mapped over 60 events around the world. Well, what you are seeing now there. We have 5 dedicated art games, so game art galleries. This is so tiny. Can you read it from there? With my glasses?
From there.
Yes. My neck is...
I know. But yeah.
84 curators, that's quite a number. People that is dedicated to deal with this kind of games or specific artworks.
I feel like there is lots more, of course, but this is what we've mapped so far from like GAIA events and from all the events that we have seen around the world. That is, but also to say like language is also, of course, a thing that is a barrier at some point, because English is a nice base language for us to go out on about, but like there is lots of things happening around the world that is in different languages, and then we don't have the search tools for this or to find, for example. Also, when you type in Google game events, then you get all sorts of things, and also so it's really hard sometimes to find the different things. And here is our little Google sheet with all of the things that we have collected so far. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see, for instance, UK, United States are the ones that have the most things happening, or that we know about.
Yes, I guess the most things that we know about, because they, of course, have a way of showing the world. More than that we can, if I cannot find something in Slovenia, for example, because I don't speak the language, and so then we need someone from there to show us, okay, this is what's happening there.
And also what we're discovering now is how to tag all this. As we said, they are collectives, they are curators, they have an event, they have an online thing, there are scenes, there are like so many different things that we have to kind of try to group and to categorize.
And of course, there's also the issue that there's a lot of events happening, but then they are gone, and we still want to keep track of them because it's also part of like the history and of what we are now and where it's going. So that's also important to us that we keep track of those. But how?
Yeah, and we're in 20 minutes, and we want to share just a little bit of the current scene. Can we have like 5 more? Thank you. So, Europe, this is yours.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is actually a map from from a while ago, but yeah. So Amaze is one that I curate the program for, but it exists since 2012, and it has like an award show where so the people can. It's an open call for games. It's art house games and experimental games and playful media. So it's going to be indie games, VR, local multiplayer games, alt controller games. And there is an exhibition of all the things that are nominated, and there's an award show. Then there's like talks, but also experimentation with play and games on stage. So the program is not only about speaking about games, but also exploring and experiencing different ways of looking at games.
Also, other thing that we want to do is not just tag the place and say, okay, this is happening. This is happening when, what is this about, how can you apply, so you have to pay a fee for enter. There is an open call that is run, so try to provide info for people to...
Yeah, so that will be for the website, like what will we all bring in there so that you have an overview of what's happening. And here is a small collection of things throughout the several years. So Beta Public was in London or in the UK, more from the theater side of things, where they had like poetry readings and different ways of interacting around games. The Wood Festival was more about being playful in public spaces and with more the physical ideas of games, so that you have move controllers in the water and play a game with your feet that way. So it did still make use of technology from games, but then make it in more physical and also more folk games. And then the Overkill Festival is more playful art. A festival where bringing together also different kinds of people from the different backgrounds, like we had what's it called, Las Tesses, and we did like a march through the city center of Enschede last Thursday as the opening of the festival, where we told everyone we are here and we are allowed to be here as well. So there is many ways of thinking of playfulness and games and art and bringing that together.
Then also what is happening here. So you have, as I said, you have game developers that are exploring the medium, and you also have artists working with technology that are exploring what playfulness means within this. So you have Monica Rikic, Serafín Álvarez, and the Daniel Roldan, did I say it right? Resistencia Videolúdica, who is here and who is trying to push the medium and also push the conversation. Games that are in development within contexts like this, that can play, like Nelumbo or Maya, that was yesterday the talk given by Mario Barranco. Well, Vortex, all the things that artGames does at the same time. And Game Artopia, which is actually also a mapping project on the game art field. So this is here also the discussion, game art, the artworks that are made by games and not games themselves. But this is all within the same conversation, so things that are exploring the medium. And what is happening in Latin America? So just 3 snapshots. We have, for instance, Junza in Peru, which is an independent game festival that started last year based on a local ritual, and the idea was to showcase the national identity of games and try to, again, explore the medium. They had this one festival last year. They weren't able to do this year, but they want to do something again next year. So again, this difficulty when you are trying to create your own independent festival, that's also the need to create this network, to try to help each other and to share resources and to work together. Then you have big things like File Festival, but File Festival in Sao Paulo has, I think, 13 or 15 years already, and it's a digital festival that has been widening the kind of content as in the same time that new media art has been evolving. So they had its own games chapter, and they have been showcasing things like like wobbler, alternative controllers, or maybe things like this Playful installation, which is two VR sets connected with a sculpture, and you see different things, and you have to move in a performative way with the other people, just browsing around. And things like Cibercirujas in Argentina, which is a collective that works around the concept of permacomputer and trying to bring back to life all the obsolete technology and to find a new life prospects for this. So they work as a collective, they run workshops and they run events and they do things all around the country. So all these kind of things are the things that are important for us and that we want to map and work with. We're doing this research. And right now, this is being done thanks to the support to the gameplay lab. We're writing this communication paper. We also have the support from the Overkill Festival, which we hosted a workshop yesterday. Zuraida, Ivan, and Pablo from Shaman Garage, who are working on the website. We have to finish writing the paper. I think it is due by June. Probably it will be before. And we have to keep working on the website, and the idea is to gather as many people as is interested in helping us expanding this and to apply to an international funding. Am I forgetting something?
No, I guess so. It's two things. Like I want to write a paper with all the research and the background, and then have the website that actually is useful to a lot of people that are looking for. Like, okay, I'm in Europe, but I want to go to Japan and see what kind of indie collectives of art games are happening there, so that they can find this. Or if you are in South Africa and you want to find like-minded people, or you want to go invent and show your game or something like that, so that people can use this as a tool to discover and find and work and find people that are doing the same thing as them. So it's like and we're now trying to figure out like how are we gonna make that into a usable platform as well. So this is what we're gonna do in a workshop later today with Ivan from Shaman Garage, who makes beautiful things.
Yeah, and this is it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you both. Amazing work. I mean, we're very happy to collaborate with you in this project. So yeah, amazing work, and please keep us posted. Well, we have this workshop you mentioned this afternoon to keep talking about this, and yeah, please keep us posted, and we will keep you all posted through our website. Okay, when as the project goes on. So thanks a lot again, yeah, we are now moving to the next round table. Thank you very much.